Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to Open Mic here on my YouTube channel. I am, of course, your host, John Campea, and this is the totally open format, open discussion show where we do nothing but taking your questions. Now, on the John Campea show, we save a little bit of time for live questions, but on Open Mic, that's all we do. And you know, I'm running a little bit behind today because out of nowhere, the brand new Deadpool 2 trailer dropped, and I'm sure some of you guys are going to want to talk about it. I did just put up my review for the and breakdown of the Deadpool 2 trailer. It is the final trailer, best trailer yet that they've had so far, but I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay, guys, without wasting any time, let's dive right into it. And we go to our Hall second. Again, like I said, I'm running a little bit behind, so I didn't have a chance to get everything all set up here. Okay, we get started with Murray for Us, who writes, if MoviePass somehow switches to 4 movies a month, then us moviegoers should try Cinemia, because $14 a month single plan gets you 3 movies, and you have the option to pre-order tickets in advance and also see premium theaters. Okay, so what Murray for Us is talking about here is I put up a video last night about this. So, MoviePass right now has a special promotion going on where you buy 3 months of MoviePass, you pay $30, okay? And you get 3 months of MoviePass. And you get an extended trial period of iHeartRadio's All Access. I don't use iHeartRadio, so that means nothing to me. But here's the 2 catches with that promo. Catch number 1, it's not unlimited. It's only 4 movies a month. Now, that's plenty. Granted, give them their due. The 4 movies a month is still plenty. But, again, it is not unlimited. It is 4 movies per month, okay? Here's the other catch. The other catch is, if you want to go and sign up for MoviePass right now, that's the only offer you can take. There is no other option for signing up right now. The only option you have, if you or anybody else wants to sign up for MoviePass right now, the only thing you can sign up for is this iHeartRadio promotion deal. You pay $30, you get 3 months, and you're limited to 4 movies per month. Which again, 4 movies per month, that's not bad. Now, let's not pretend that that's a bad thing. It's just very, very different from unlimited, right? Now, here's where it gets a little bit more complicated. MoviePass is saying that once their iHeartRadio promo is done, they'll be offering the $9.95 or $10 a month plan again. But here's the catch. They don't say the $9.95 unlimited plan again. That's where things get a little bit hazy. Now, maybe once this iHeartRadio thing is done, they go back to $10 a month and they go back to unlimited. But as of right now, the only thing MoviePass has explicitly said is that once the iHeartRadio thing is done, you can sign up for $10 a month again. But is that $10 a month unlimited or $10 a month at 4 movies per month? There is a big difference. There is a big difference. So that's the thing I made a video about last night. You can go check out that video that's there. But yeah, if it comes out to 4 movies a month, then I strongly recommend Cinemia over it. Like, one of the big reasons to take MoviePass over Cinemia is the unlimited nature. If it gets limited to 4 movies a month, I would strongly recommend people make the jump over to Cinemia. A Cinemia where basically their pass works at just about every movie theater there is. You get to buy your tickets in advance. At least once a month, you're allowed to go to a premium theater like an IMAX or an AMC Prime, whereas with MoviePass, you can't do either of those. So if they do limit it to 4 a month, I agree with Murray. I think it's time for you to make the jump over to Cinemia. Go check it out and see what they mean. But then again, maybe they just didn't mention the unlimited thing coming back, and maybe they do intend to bring the unlimited thing back. That's a very strong possibility as well. It just makes me wonder, why did you limit this promo deal to 4 a month, and why not mention that the unlimited thing is coming back later? So we're just going to have to wait and see. Maybe it's something, maybe it's nothing at all. We'll have to wait and see. All right, let's move on to the next one here. The next one comes to us from Degoto1, who writes, that Equalizer trailer was great. I'm a big fan of the first one. I have not seen the trailer yet. I knew the trailer was dropping today. However, the poster, because the poster came out yesterday, but again, I woke up this morning, saw the Deadpool 2 thing. I just had to get moving on that and record a review and reaction for it. That was early. So I haven't seen the Equalizer trailer yet. I will get to that as soon as the show's done today. Okay, let's go on here. Mary writes, now that we have more trailers, who wins summer for you? Josh Brolin in Infinity War and Deadpool 2, Chris Pratt in Infinity War and Jurassic World, or Paul Bettany in Infinity War and so... Oh, yeah, that's right. So you got a bunch of people in multiple iterations of the big movies this summer. Well, look, Paul Bettany's role in Infinity War and Solo is probably going to be smaller than Chris Pratt's role. Like, Chris Pratt is the lead character in Jurassic World. So that's one advantage Chris Pratt has. Josh Brolin is a significant character both in Infinity War and Deadpool 2. Paul Bettany is a secondary character in both Infinity War and Solo. I'll probably go Chris Pratt. If you're just going by box office dollars, which combination of movies will make the most money? Infinity War and Deadpool 2 for Josh Brolin, Infinity War and Jurassic World for Chris Pratt, or Infinity War and Solo for Paul Bettany? Well, they're all even with Infinity War, but I believe Jurassic World makes more money than Deadpool 2 or Solo. So I'm going to say box office-wise, the winner is going to be Chris Pratt, ladies and gentlemen. Murray for us follows up. Just bought my Deadpool 2 tickets. Update on Solo yet? No, but I mean, I really don't care about when advance tickets come out. I don't care if they come out 2 years in advance. I don't care if they come out 4 days in advance. I really don't care. I'll get them when I get them, sort of thing. So no, I haven't heard any update on, as to when the Solo 2 tickets go on sale. Probably pretty soon, if they're not already available. Josh Crichton writes, good morning, John. Good morning. Seems there was positive reaction on the chat board about the Lady Gaga questions yesterday. So Campions, more info later on. Yeah, we'll see if that can ever happen. I mean, that would be great. I would love to sit down with Lady Gaga, but that's never going to happen. Mary writes, just read a bit about Tiffany Haddish's life story. So tragic, but you'd never tell. I hope she stays winning. Look it up if you're not. Well, actually, you know, after the amazing success of Girls Trip, that was my surprise movie of the year. I thought that was going to be such a throwaway movie, and I love Girls Trip. Love that movie. I can watch that thing every week. And Tiffany Haddish was the big breakout star of that movie. She's fearless. Like, on camera, she will do anything and totally go all in on it. And it just made her hilarious in it. But after seeing her in that, Anne and I got into looking up her old comedy specials. And some of them are hilarious. One or two of them not so hot. But in a couple of the things, she starts to reveal her life story about like things in her past. And you're right. It's a very colorful past. It's a lot of adversity. Going from foster homes, and it's really an amazing story when you look at the woman she's become, including like she was doing stand-up at the Comedy Store and living in her car. And there's a really neat place where then I think it was Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart saw her at the Comedy Store. They knew each other because they're comedians. He found out she was living in her car, and I think he set her up with an apartment. But anyway, it's a really interesting story. You should look it up. Mary's absolutely right. Tiffany Haddish has a really interesting backstory. Okay, Murray for us writes, have you seen Mr. Sunday Movies clip yet on Christopher Robin with Kenobi? It's hilarious. No, I haven't seen that one. Mr. Sunday Movies puts out some pretty funny shit, man. He puts out some really funny stuff. But no, I have not seen that yet, so I'll have to check that out later. Dimsum05 writes, change companion video title to Campea Ketchup? What? Campea Ketchup? That's not a bad idea. Because really, companion video, that could mean almost anything else. It really is more of a catch-up video, right? I'll have to think about that. That's not a bad suggestion. Let me think on that. All right. The next one comes to us from Nathan C. And Nathan C. writes, regarding my long... Oh, yeah, that's right, because Nathan made this big, long Manhunter pitch yesterday. Martian Manhunter, for those of you who don't know. Regarding my long Manhunter pitch, I knew you hate the character, but sometimes it's just fun to share a fun idea. By the way, thoughts on Mary Shelley trailer? I always love the true story, but this looks wasted. I haven't seen the trailer for Mary Shelley yet. If it's the one I'm thinking about, it's actually been out for a little while, right? Hold on a second. Like the woman who created Frankenstein, right? Oh, yeah. I haven't yet. Still haven't watched it yet. Still have not watched that yet. Actually, didn't the movie come out? Anyway, maybe I'm a little bit behind on that. Okay, next one comes, and you're right, sometimes it is just fun to share an idea. Absolutely it is. And so don't let whether I like an idea or not like an idea, dampen your mood for sharing ideas. Like, look, if you share an idea, some people are going to like it, some people aren't. That doesn't mean you shouldn't share ideas. It is fun to share ideas, absolutely. And just because I don't like The Martian Manhunter doesn't mean there weren't other people who didn't read your idea and really get a kick out of it. So yeah, don't be deterred by that at all. Let's see. Daryl Best Wadley writes, did you like Flash and Black Lightning this week? Gonna miss Black Lightning. I very much like Black Lightning. Torn on Flash. It wasn't bad. That certainly had some really great elements to it. They had some very, very good elements to Flash. But look, although the one thing is this that really pissed me off through the whole episode is in Flash, and I'm not going to give away any resolution. If you haven't seen this week's episode of Flash, what I'm about to say, I'm giving away some elements of the episode, but I'm not giving away the heart of the episode, like the ultimate resolution of the episode. What you had in Flash was there was a repeated theme throughout the episode of Flash keep telling Ralph, oh, we don't kill. You can't kill. We don't kill. That's a line we don't cross. Shut the fuck up, Barry. You have killed. I have lost count of how many people you have killed in this show. I have lost count. And that just pulled me. That was so inconsistent. That was such hypocrisy that it completely pulled me out of the episode. I just could not get into the episode at all. Like that constant preaching throughout thing, oh, we don't kill. As superheroes, there's always another choice. We don't kill. Shut up, Barry. Shut up, Meg. Shut up, Barry. You have killed tons of people in this show. Tons of people. Oh, but it was in self-defense. Well, guess what? There was somebody coming to kill Ralph. And he was thinking, I better kill that person in self-defense. It just bothered me. It was such an inconsistent note with the show. And the fact that they didn't even acknowledge that, the fact that never once in that episode did anybody stop and go, well, Barry, we have killed people. Like the fact that they didn't even acknowledge that really pissed me off. And it's too bad because otherwise it was a pretty decent episode. But that was something that really, really bothered me. And the Black Lightning episode, great. I love this. I'm going to do, I think, a season recap, like a 5-minute season recap later on, probably in the next couple of days about Black Lightning Season 1. But I thoroughly enjoyed Black Lightning this year. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did. All right. Let's see. Darth Impact writes, hey, John, just caught up on Black Lightning finale. So good. Tobias Whale may be the best villain in the DC CW universe since Deathstroke. Absolutely. One of the reasons, there are many reasons I really like this Black Lightning show. One of those reasons, not the least of which, is their villain, Tobias Whale. Awesome. I could seriously, they could have an hour-long episode where 45 minutes of that episode is just Tobias talking. Like, just him talking. I love it. It's not just the sound of his voice. Like, it's the way he's written, the dialogue that's written for him is killer. And I can't remember the name of the actor. I looked up the name of the actor, and for some reason I'm forgetting his name. But the dude is killing it playing this character. It's clearly a well-written character, but I'd say like a good 30% of this is his performance. The way he delivers. If you haven't started watching Black Lightning yet, man, get into it. And I really like how Tobias's role is growing more and more. And I love his sidekick, Sinai. I love her. And I'm really digging the addition of, what was her boyfriend's name? Khalil? At first, when Khalil came back, I'm like, this is cheesy. But now seeing Khalil, what they call him, Painkiller. Now seeing him with Sinai and Tobias is like, okay, now I'm really into Khalil. Now I'm really into this character. And I love this. This is one line that Khalil works for Tobias and everybody's afraid of Tobias. And he screws up, comes in and apologizes to Tobias. He goes, man, Tobias says to Khalil, you're a painkiller. You don't apologize. And I'm like, oh, the scene was so great. I'm loving this show. And you're right. I am totally bummed out that there's no more Black Lightning now till next year. But yeah, I totally dig the show. Okay, let's see. Hector Jetter writes, All this Hook talk has been reminding me on how much I loved that movie as a kid. The coconut sword was the coolest thing ever aside from a lightsaber. Never understood why critics hated it. I agree. Look, there are many movies I like that other people don't like, and I can totally get it. I get why you don't like it. Like I am unapologetic. I like Suicide Squad, but I get why other people don't. I do. I really like Justice League, but I get why many people don't. You know, the examples like that. But Hook is really one of those ones that baffles me. There are a lot of people, and all film's subjective, but it's just one that I don't understand it though. I don't get why people don't like this movie. I think I think Hook is beautiful. I love Hook. Bangarang, baby. I mean, I love that movie, and it is one of those movies that I get it. All film's subjective. No matter what, people aren't going to like it. But this is one of those ones where I'm just like, I don't understand. Like, I can't wrap my head around why you don't. I accept that many people don't because film is subjective, but it's one of the ones that I just don't get. I don't get because I think that's a fabulous movie, man. KW Garrett writes, I saw 2002's Rollerball remake, and it belongs in your unholy trilogy of worst wide release films. It's hot garbage. Even Rebecca Romijn topless didn't help it. Yeah, Rollerball is awful. I still don't put it on the same level as Catwoman, Battlefield Earth, and Highlander 2. To me, those are still just another level above. But if there's an honorable mention thing, Rollerball would have to be in that conversation. And I love Rebecca Romijn Stamos, or just Rebecca Romijn now. I love her. One of the most beautiful women ever in Hollywood. And she is, like, all due respect for Jennifer Lawrence, but there's one cinematic mystique, and it ain't Jennifer Lawrence. It's Rebecca. So anyway, that's just my thoughts on that. Okay, Bobby M writes, hey John, what is your favorite brand of acoustic guitar? I've always been a fan of Taylor, and own two myself. I've never owned a Taylor. You know, I'd have to think about that. I've owned several different brands. Like, I've owned several of them. And I've always been in love with every guitar I've ever owned. I've always just really, really loved, because I've never bought a guitar unless I loved it. But I'd have to think about that. I can't answer that one off the top of my head, unfortunately. But Taylor makes a good one. Let's see. Chris Oldfield writes, Lost in Space, Dr. Smith made me want to hang myself. Well, yeah, I just didn't get that. See, to me, that was the biggest weakness of Lost in Space. The new Netflix series. Because the two main problems with Lost in Space. Number one, I felt like everything narratively was just barely scratching the surface. Like, there was potential to go deeper in about 8 of the different themes they introduced, but it just always felt very shallow and surfacey. The second biggest problem, and maybe the biggest problem, of the Lost in Space series, and I talk about this in depth on my review, but is the Dr. Smith's character. And I love Parker Posey. But whereas you had very different people in Lost in Space, but they all felt like they belonged in the same movie or show, as the case may be. The Dr. Smith character, she honestly to me felt like a character out of a Will Smith comedy. It was a ridiculous character. Now, I will grant it, as you get closer to the end of season 1, they become a little bit more consistent and the character starts to round out a little bit better. But for the first 3/4 of the series, I'm like, she's a character out of a Will Smith movie, which is fine if you're in a Will Smith movie. But all the other characters in Lost in Space were in a different kind of show. And she felt like she was in a totally different kind of show. And it just felt jarring. Every time she would speak and come on screen, it became very, very jarring. Because they just wrote the character a certain way. Again, Parker Posey, I think, did the best you could do with that character. But the character as they wrote her was, yeah, kind of painful. And again, she improved. The character got a little bit better near the end, but for most of it, she was just out of place. So yeah, it was very off-putting. Hector follows up. Which MCU movie would you want to experience again for the first time? Ooh, that's a good one. If I could go back and experience an MCU movie again for the first time, which one would it be? Well, I still think the best MCU movie is Avengers. I still think Avengers is the best comic book movie ever made. And it's certainly in the discussion with that, Dark Knight, obviously, and Logan. I think those are the three films that have to be in your conversation for best comic book movie ever. I still personally think it's the first Avengers. But, you know what? It might be Civil War. I still think Avengers is the best one, but Civil War, just for that airport scene alone, to see that for the first time. Like, I was out of breath by the time that scene ended. It was, even as you watch it a 15th, 16th, 17th time, you're still out of breath by the time that scene ends. But I think that would probably be the one I wish I could experience again for the first time. All right. Next one comes to us from Manuel Fernandez, who writes, do you listen to the Joe Rogan Experience podcast? I love how he brings in people of different backgrounds with different opinions, whether in science, religion, politics, etc. Yeah, I do, and I really like Joe Rogan. I don't agree with him on everything by any stretch of the imagination, but Joe Rogan, he's a very good comedian. He's a very good comedian, but I think he's an even better communicator and an even better pundit in general than he is a comedian. I think he's great. Now, I will admit, I don't listen to it on a regular basis, but every once in a while, he'll have a topic or a particular guest, and I'm like, oh, I got to listen to that one. He's great. And it's funny because a lot more than Kevin Smith. It used to be people would say, John, you and Kevin Smith should be on an episode of a podcast together, blah, blah, blah. But even more than the Kevin Smith thing now, people tell me, John, you should have Joe Rogan on, as if I can just drop Joe Rogan an email and say, hey, Joe Rogan, come on my podcast. And he would just be there. But I would love to do one because not only can we talk about movies, but I would love to talk MMA with Joe Rogan. The guy is a great commentator for MMA. So yeah, big fan of Joe Rogan, actually. All right. Maya Demi writes, hey, John, if I don't send any super chats next Thursday, either the waiting killed me or the movie did, or I killed someone for spoiling the movie. Good luck with the move. Has Anne picked her dress for Monday night yet? Ooh, you know what? I don't think she has. I don't think she's picked her. You know, here's the crazy thing. It is going to be a nutty couple of days. Today, we are moving the studio. The studio later today is getting moved. When I do the John Campea show later today at 2 o'clock, the moment we're done that show, the studio is getting torn down and it's all being shipped over to the new place. So that's happening today. Then the main movers come tomorrow. So today, Ryan and fact checker Jonathan and my buddy Ryan, they're coming over to move my studio because I don't want movers handling the equipment and all this stuff. And then tomorrow morning, the movers come to take the rest of it. So I'm trying to do shows today. Got to get ready to move the studio. I got to go over to the new place today for the television installers are coming today. So they're taking, because I've got my TV, my theater system mounted up on the wall. So they're unmounting it, taking it over to the new place today and mounting it in the new place. Then at like 5 p.m., I've got the internet service people are coming over to hook up internet in the new place. Then we're moving all the studio stuff over. Then at 8 o'clock in the morning, the movers come. And I'm hoping that we can get the whole studio put together tonight so that I can still do I can still do open mic tomorrow morning at 8:30 from the new studio. That's it. That's the hope, that we can get it all set up, the internet in there and working, so that tomorrow morning at 8:30 I can do open mic. There is a 30% chance there won't be an open mic show tomorrow, but the plan is to do it, and everything should happen. So anyway, then the movers come at 8, move everything over. Now we got to get unpacked. Then I got to get ready to go to Vegas next week because CinemaCon is next week. So I'm going to be in Vegas for the week, and I'm going to be doing my shows from Vegas and doing some special videos from Vegas. So we got the premiere Monday. So we're trying to get unpacked. The premiere is on Monday. I get home from the premiere, immediately go to bed, wake up, go to a 6 a.m. flight to go to Vegas on Tuesday morning for CinemaCon. It's a nutty couple of days, man. It's a nutty couple of days. And yeah, we're heading in there. The good thing about the fact that they haven't screened Avengers Infinity War yet is that between now and Tuesday morning, you're really in no danger of any real spoilers. Between now and Tuesday morning, very little risk of spoilers. Unless, of course, certain film critics can't help themselves and decide to put up a spoiler review before the movie opens, in which case you're in a lot of dangerous spoilers. But anyway, so here we go. So yep, we're only a few days away. Like, even forget the world premiere on Monday. We're 1 week away from Infinity War hitting theaters. 1 week. It's an exciting time, man. It's an exciting time. All right, let's see. What's next up here? Next is John During, who writes, the closest AMC to me in Wheeling, West Virginia, is in St. Clairsville, Ohio. Wow. The ticket lines are the same as the concession lines, unless the line gets very, very long. Thanks, sir. Today is my birthday. You know, thanks for mentioning that, John, because what happened on yesterday's show, somebody mentioned on yesterday's show that at their movie theater, the concession line and the ticket line are the same line. And that blew my mind. I have never heard of that. It sounds terrible, but I have never heard of that, ever. And I thought maybe he was mistaken, or maybe it was just in his one theater. But then last night, a number of you guys emailed me, like you right now, John, emailed me or tweeted me saying that, yep, it happens in their theaters. I'm guessing this is a wider practice than I thought. Because, like, every movie theater I've ever been in, you can't get to the concession stand unless you've already got your movie ticket to get in. I have never even heard of this, but apparently it is a wider practice than I thought. You know, I am tempted to put up a poll. You know what? I think I will. I'm going to put up a poll that asks everybody, does your movie theater have the concession line and ticket line the same? You know what? Hold a second. I'm going to do this right now live. Which is terrible. I shouldn't be doing this. We're supposed to be doing the show, not me putting up a tweet. I'm going to put up a tweet right now. Let's see. I'm going to put up a poll. Does your movie theater have the same line? What I say? In your local movie theater, do you get in the exact same line for tickets and concessions? Or are they two separate lines? Okay, so hold on a second. I'm going to post this. Choice 1 is going to be same line for both. Option 2, two separate lines. Okay, so I'm going to put this up as a poll. And I'm going to remind me, guys, near the end of today's episode to check in on my poll. And anyway, to check in on the online poll to see what people are saying and what people are thinking about. Because, yeah, apparently it's more common than I thought. Okay, let's go over to this. Orange Hand writes, if Drax finds Mantis ugly, imagine how he would react to seeing Black Widow or Scarlet Witch. Well, first of all, the girl who plays Mantis, her name Palm something? Hold on a second. Who plays Mantis? Palm Kelmuth is her name. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right. Palm is stunning. Like, she is absolutely stunningly beautiful. Like, it's oh my God. Like, I don't know if she's pure Asian or if she's half Asian, half white mix, which is usually just a killer combination. But she is absolutely stunning. I'm just trying to find a good picture of her here that I can put up, that I can pull up here. But anyway, long story short, at the Black Panther premiere, you know, we were sitting right beside, like, 2 seats, like, literally just, there's me, a person, Donald Glover, right? The person in between me and Donald Glover was Palm Clementif. Now, I didn't even recognize her because I've never seen her outside of her makeup, right? But Anne recognized her because I guess Anne follows her on social media. So that's why Anne recognized her. She told me, oh, she's the girl who plays Mantis, and I had no idea. This is her outside of the Mantis thing. Stunning. And by the way, this picture doesn't even do her justice. This girl is psychotically attractive. She was the second most attractive woman in that theater that night. Anne looked pretty bomb. Anne looked pretty bomb that night. Granted, I'm biased, but Anne was pretty bomb. But Palm, she was like the second best looking woman in that theater. It was staggering. So, I don't know, man. When you're talking about, like, Elizabeth Olsen is gorgeous. Obviously, Scarlett Johansson is gorgeous. But Palm is right up there, too. So, Palm ain't taking home any participation awards in any beauty contest. I'm just saying, she's, like, ridiculously stupid attractive. All right. R.O. Olsen writes, what a hell of a fun Deadpool 2 trailer. Your thoughts and hype, John. Also, the DCEU line in the trailer cracked me up. I had to time out at work. Savage. It was great. I loved the last Deadpool trailer. Loved the last Deadpool trailer. I did not think the next one could top it, and I thought this one topped it. And you know what might even be a better moment than, hit the hate brakes, Thanos, or so dark, are you sure you're not from the DC universe? I thought even a better moment, what was his name, Kevin? I can't remember what the guy, for argument's sake, let's just say Kevin. Near the end of the trailer, as Deadpool's doing interviews for the superhero team, very reminiscent, by the way, of, what's the name of, why am I freezing on one of my favorite superhero movies with the Shoveler and Mr. Furious? Why am I freezing on the name of the movie? I talk about it all the time. Anyway, you know the movie I'm talking about with Ben Stiller and Hank Azaria. Anyway, it reminded me a lot of that movie with their superhero interviews. But anyway, I think maybe my favorite moment was as Deadpool is doing the superhero interviews and just the dude with no powers. And what are your superpowers? None, I'm just answering the ad. And then it cuts to a shot of him skydiving with the team. That killed me. That scene absolutely killed me. I loved it. I thought that might have been the best moment. But yes, the DC line in the trailer was absolutely hilarious too. Chris Olfeld just sends in a super chat. Thank you so much, Chris. Let's see here. Oh, and there's the big jump. That happens every show. And here we go. Now we're caught up. Okay. Patrick Conway writes, did you see the Widow and Cap versus Black Order clip? Nope, I'm not watching anymore. If they pull out, if for some reason Infinity War pulls out another full trailer, I'll watch it. But they're putting out new TV spots, it feels like every day. And I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I don't want to see any more. You've shown me plenty. Actually, they've crossed a line now. They have now officially put out too much. They've put out too much. They need to stop. Just play the spots that you've already put out. Like, you don't need to reveal more and more footage. So no, I did not see that. I have no plans on watching that. I'm done. I'm ready for the movie. I don't need to see any more. I don't want to see any more. I'm just ready for the movie. So no, I haven't seen that yet. Mason Catchman writes, love the New England Patriot logo there. In the minority, but I'm a big Transformers fan, and I'm proud of it, but do understand the problems people don't like them. And that's the pure subjectivity of film right there, Mason. Look, I love the first Transformers movie. Love it. Unabashed. I love it. That moment in the first Transformers movie when Optimus Prime first appears, as he comes rolling through the mist in the alley, and then the camera does that swing around as he's transforming for the first time, I almost wept. I kid you not, grown-ass man, I almost wept. Because I'm sitting there watching Optimus Prime, quote-unquote, live action for the first time ever, rolling in a shot through the mist, a very Michael Bay kind of shot, rolling in through the mist, and then the camera spinning, the transformer, and it's Optimus Prime. And I almost cried. I almost cried as a grown-ass man. Now, yes, to me, the rest of the films were steaming hot piles of garbage, but the pure subjectivity of film means that there are other people who are going to like it. And I'm sure there are things that you think are garbage that I like too, but that's the fun part about movies. is that it is all subjective, and everybody's going to have a different opinion. So don't you apologize for. I mean, I'll think you're crazy. Like, I'll put my hand in your and say, dude, you are nuts for loving those movies, but you love them, and that's all that matters, and that's all that's important. And don't you apologize for liking something other people don't. I mean, it's good that you acknowledge other people don't like it. It's great that you acknowledge why you understand why other people don't like it, but never apologize for liking what you like. That's the subjectivity of film. So I'm glad you shared that. Thanks a lot, man, and go Patriots. Hector Rios writes, got my Infinity War tickets for Thursday night. Can't wait. It's coming, man. It's psychotic. It feels like yesterday that we were doing a show and talking about how Infinity War is just 6 weeks away now, guys. It's next week. 7 days from today, this movie opens to the public. It feels like we've been talking about this movie forever. It feels like the first trailer just came out. It is nuts. It's coming. So I'm glad you got your tickets for opening night, man. Let's see. Jack Spittle. Peter from Deadpool 2 is everything. If we're talking Piotr from Colossus. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm digging it. I'm digging it. One of the things I mentioned in my review was I was a little bit concerned that Colossus wasn't going to be in the movie much. But this new trailer seems to suggest he's going to be in it more than I thought, which is great. I mean, he's not going to be the major character, but which is great because he is one of the prime reasons I loved the first Deadpool so much. Obviously, the main reason is Deadpool himself and Ryan Reynolds' portrayal. But next after that, and then the romance between him and his girl was great. But then after that, it's Colossus. I thought Colossus was great. Okay, let's go on here. John Reed writes, hey, John. Thoughts on Anson Mount being cast as the Star Trek Discovery as Captain Pike of the Enterprise? Well, I actually talked about that on the show last week. Look, here's the thing. Number one, I love that they're going to have Captain Pike. For those of you who don't know a lot about Star Trek lore, Captain Pike was the original captain of the USS Enterprise. In the old TV series, the pilot that never aired, I mean, it got aired later on as a part of another episode, but the pilot they shot of Star Trek didn't have William Shatner as Captain Kirk. It was another dude as Captain Pike. And then they used that for another episode of Star Trek later on. In a flashback series, like let's look back to before Captain Kirk became captain of the Enterprise, and there's this Captain Pike. So they had Captain Pike a couple of times in the original series. Bruce Greenwood, the great actor, I love Bruce Greenwood. Bruce Greenwood played Captain Pike, who eventually became Admiral Pike, I think, in the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies. So now they have cast a Captain Pike in Discovery, and is being played by Anson Mount. If you don't recognize the name, he's the guy who, unfortunately, was the lead guy in the Inhumans TV show, which just sucked amazing amounts of ass. And he didn't speak because he couldn't talk, or else he destroyed mountains. So now I know he was. What else was he in? Hell on Wheels, I think, is the other show he was on. I never watched that. So the only thing I've ever seen Anson acting in was a role that he couldn't speak. So I don't know, good or bad. I don't know how good or bad he is as an actor. I thought even without speaking, he did a pretty good job in Inhumans, despite how bad the show was. So I'm more happy that they're having Captain Pike than I am about them casting him. Again, he might be perfect for it. I just don't know, because I've only ever seen him in a role where he didn't speak. So that's kind of the trap I'm in. But I'm glad they're doing Captain Pike. I'm glad they're using Captain Pike. All right. Next up comes us from Trevor Johnson, who writes, the Deadpool 2 trailer gave me Mystery Men. Why was I freezing on the title for Mystery Men? The Deadpool 2 trailer gave me a Mystery Men vibe. I'm hoping for some fun cameos during the audition interview scene. Yeah, I mean, that was taken directly from Mystery Men. The whole table, bringing in people one at a time. One of my favorite ones was, I am Eraserhead, and this is son of Eraserhead. I mean, that was all great too. Yes, that is definitely an homage to Mystery Men, which makes me love Deadpool all the more, because you guys hear me talk about Mystery Men all the time. That movie Mystery Men was so far ahead of its time. Was so far ahead of its time. It's not a comic book movie because it's not based on a comic, but it's a superhero movie. And one of my favorites, maybe, you know what, honestly, Mystery Men belongs in the conversation with Thor Ragnarok, or not Thor Ragnarok, with the original Thor movie and with Man of Steel as being the most underrated superhero movies. I won't say comic book movies, but superhero movies of all time. And if you have not seen Mystery Men with the bowler and the spleen and Casanova Frankenstein and Captain Amazing. Oh, Captain Amazing. I would watch an entire Captain Amazing spin-off movie. Anyway, then you got to watch it. Mystery Men is great. And you're right, totally had a Mystery Men vibe to it, especially that one scene. Juan Absent Good writes, saw the Equalizer trailer, or Equalizer 2 trailer, and it looks amazing. I got a John Wick feel from it. What are your thoughts? Again, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, still haven't watched the trailer yet. I'm going to have to watch it. I was a little preoccupied with the Deadpool trailer and getting a review for it made, and then scrambling to get ready for open mic. So I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I'm sure I'll do a reaction, or review and breakdown video of it a little bit later. All right, Tinis Vlado writes, shirt idea. Keep your fork out keep your fork out of my shake. Joking aside, Ray, did you report the abuse of power to John? Hold a second here. Actually, let me, I'm going to show you something. I shouldn't show this to you yet. But I am. I'm going to show it to you. Wait a minute. You know what? I didn't save it. Oh, I didn't save it. I can't show it to you yet. Sorry, guys. I was going to show you something, but I'm going to have to show it to you later. I had a little logo made for the first piece of merchandising I'm going to put out. I've got the official thing for the first piece of merchandising I am going to put out. And I was going to show it to you on today's show. You know what? I'll show it to you later on the John Campea show. On the John Campea show later today, I will show you this first little piece. I'm very happy with it. I think it's going to be fun. And I'll show it to you guys later. But yes, I don't know that Ray's ever gotten over the fact that I took a piece of brownie off the top of his sundae, or off the top of his shake. I don't know if he's ever recovered from that. He's coming over here later today, so I'm hoping things are smoothed out. We'll see how that goes. All right, Jeremy Miller writes, no, John, give me all the bacon and eggs you have. Ron Swanson, ladies and gentlemen. Bring me all your eggs and bacon. Yes, sir. Wait a minute, son. One of the best moments ever in Parks and Rec, as he's talking to a waiter. I'm afraid you misunderstood me, and you thought I said, bring me a lot of bacon and eggs. Bring me all the bacon and eggs. One of the great... Ron Swanson had so many great lines, so many great moments in Parks and Rec. He was one of the best characters on TV for a long time. Even his letter, remember the episode where he wrote a letter to Canada? Great. Another great thing. Any dog under 20 pounds is a cat, and cats are useless. It's just so many great lines from Ron Swanson. Dakota Barber writes, love the new Deadpool 2 trailer. Brolin looks great as Cable. You're right, and I love the way they're handling him. They've obviously played around with it a bit, that him and Domino don't have a shared connection at this point yet. So that's kind of weird, but it's going to be really cool to see how they play it out. I love the way they're portraying him. I love the way they're portraying Cable, and Brolin is nailing it from what we're seeing in the trailer so far. Let's see. Manuel Fernandez writes, have you watched Genius on Nat Geo? Season 3 will be about Mary Shelley. I have not watched it. I have not seen a single episode. I'm aware of it, but I haven't seen a single episode of it. Again, you know, there's a lot of TV I don't watch because I don't have a ton of TV time to watch. Here are some shows that I watch. But there's like 50 shows on. Okay, I watch Black Lightning, Flash, and Arrow. Even though I hate Arrow, I'm watching it anyway. I watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because I hate myself, apparently. I watch Lucifer. What else do I watch? Every once in a while, I'll watch Chicago PD. Whatever. It's a guilty pleasure show of mine. I like Chicago PD. I'm sure I'm forgetting one or two. Not many other shows that I watch. Not a lot of other shows that I watch. Now and again, every 3 or 4 weeks, I'll get caught up on maybe Designated Survivor, the Kiefer Sutherland show. Oh, and I do watch Blacklist. But again, it's like every 2 or 3 weeks, I'll get caught up on the last 2 episodes. But, you know, I mean, that's about it. I don't have time for a lot of television, so no, I've never seen that show. Yohan Adlon writes, Jurassic World 2 has a good summer spot, but trailers were underwhelming. Could there be a chance that the first one overperformed and 2 gets under $1 billion? Well, first of all, there is no doubt that the first one overperformed. I mean, yes, the first Jurassic World overperformed. There's no doubt. It's a good movie. I like Jurassic World. It ain't a spectacular movie. And look, put this in context. I talked about this yesterday. But Black Panther, which is like being raved as one of the biggest box office successes ever, and it is. Jurassic World made over $300 million more than Black Panther did. That's how crazy successful Jurassic World was. Over $1.6 billion at the box office. That's $300 million more than Black Panther made. That's crazy. So there's no doubt that the first one overperformed. I do not believe for a second that the second one will make as much. I do think it'll be over $1 billion film. So I do think it will be over $1 billion, but I do not see it getting anywhere near the results of the first one. But you're right. The trailers have been underwhelming. I have not been impressed with the trailers. I'm still looking forward to the movie, but the job of a trailer is to take your enthusiasm for a movie and get it ramped up. And the trailers have not gotten me any more excited for the movie than I already am. And that's a problem. That is a problem. We'll have to see what kind of an impact that has as we get closer to the film. All right. Adam K. writes, what will be the surprise hit of the summer? The surprise hit of the summer. Let me take a look here. Let me just go over the summer movies here quickly. And about what I think has a chance of being... I Feel Pretty and Super Troopers 2 will not be. Infinity War is clearly not a surprise hit. Overboard won't be. Life of the... You know what? Life of the Party has some potential. Think what you will about Melissa McCarthy. I actually think the Life of the Party trailers have been pretty damn funny. I've laughed at them. And nobody's expecting... See, for you to be a surprise hit has to mean that nobody was expecting anything out of it. I don't think anybody's expecting anything out of Life of the Party. That could be a surprise hit. Deadpool 2 is obviously not a surprise. Neither is Solo. As we get into June here, Adrift isn't going to be a big one. Action Point, the new Johnny Knoxville one, again, I don't think anybody has any expectations of that. That has potential. So Life of the Party and Action Point have potential. Ocean's 8, I don't think so. Incredibles 2 wouldn't be a surprise. Tag, the new Jeremy Renner, John Hamm film, Tag, that's got some potential. Jake Johnson's in it as well. That's got some potential. Sicario wouldn't be a surprise. Jurassic World wouldn't be a surprise. But those are a couple of them. Those are the couple of them that off the top of my head. Trying to look at a bunch of the other ones here, and really none of them would be surprise hits. Like a lot of them, people are expecting to be really good. So yeah, those are a couple ones that I think could be surprise hits. Okay, let's move on here. SD Outdoors, or HDH Outdoors 022 writes, thoughts and prayers to Greg Popovich's family. Yeah, I was so sad to hear about that. So Greg Popovich, who is absolutely in the discussion for the greatest pro sports coach of all time. I'm not saying he is, but he's absolutely in the discussion. Longtime coach of the, and still current coach of the San Antonio Spurs, and just one of the classiest guys in the business. News broke yesterday that his wife of 40 plus years, Erin Popovich, has passed away. And really sad to hear that, and completely right. The entire sports world is really sending out their best warm wishes to him. And yeah, man, your partner for 40 years passed away. So you're right. Thoughts and prayers to Greg Popovich and his family. Thanks for sharing that, man. That's really classy of you. That was really classy of you. Micah T writes, Loving Legion Season 2 as much as Season 1 so far. I'm going to be honest with you. Did not like Episode 1. To me, Episode 1 was more like they're so focused on being trippy that they're forgetting to make a good narrative. That's just my impression so far. The second episode was an improvement. Haven't seen Episode 3 yet. I don't even know if Episode 3's come out yet. But to me, the first episode was they were going for style over substance, and they were so concerned about being trippy, and look how psychedelic and weird and trippy we are, that they forgot to put in a really good narrative. That's got to be the underlying thing. I felt that was missing. The second one, a little better. So we'll see how it goes through. But remember, for me, Legion Season 1 started the same way. I hated the first episode of Legion, but then I really got into it later on. And I ended up loving Season 1. Hopefully that's going to be the same pattern for me, personally. But hey, Micah, you're not alone. I know a bunch of people that really like the first couple of episodes, so I might be the odd duck out here, and that's perfectly fine. I'm perfectly cool being the odd duck out. It's Mo writes, go Spurs, go. Yeah, more now than ever, especially after that news yesterday. Completely agree with you. Daniel Lagerstedt writes, do you think the dream sequence from Age of Ultron will play out in Infinity War? I don't think so. I think that was more an allusion to the destruction of Asgard and everything. I think that was an Asgard vision for Thor Ragnarok. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. But when I saw Thor Ragnarok, I was like, oh yeah, that Age of Ultron thing was about this. The destruction, the demise, and Ragnarok, the end of all things for Asgard. That's what I thought it was a vision for. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's something else and it plays out in Infinity War. Let's see here. Next one comes to us from Andrew Pina Carranza, who writes, fellow Hamiltonian here. Steel City guy. That's my hometown. That is my hometown. Fellow Hamiltonian here. I put you in the top Hamilton alumni category with Eugene Levy and Martin Short, who are, of course, good grads of McMaster University. I can't even begin to tell you how much I love my city. I love Hamilton. I think it's the greatest city in the world. Now, I grew up, for those of you who know anything about Hamilton, I grew up mostly on a street just off of Upper Ottawa. It was right by Upper Ottawa and Lime Ridge, and Upper Ottawa and Stonechurch, kind of between there. It's called Carson Drive. And it's so special to me. When I started my own YouTube channel here, and I had to start an LLC, a new company, to be the overshell of my new business here, I called my company Carson Drive Media, named after Carson Drive in Hamilton. So there you go. Thank you for sharing that, man. I really appreciate that. I love Hamilton. Claire Casper writes, hey, John, big fan of yours. Thank you so much, Claire. Watch every day. Was wondering, what is your favorite Kubrick movie and why? Oh, it's 2001. Yeah. I mean, and as to why, that's kind of self-explanatory. But 2001 kind of did two things. It redefined our perception of what sci-fi can be. It really did, because sci-fi was considered to kind of be one thing. And 2001 came out and certainly fit within that, but it kind of redefined what you could do with sci-fi. It really did. The second thing, building on top of that, it reset the playground for what filmmakers after him could do with the notion of sci-fi. And underneath all of that was just a great story. And it's trippy and abstract, yet solid and concrete all at the same time. I mean, yeah, so for me, it would be 2001 Space Odyssey to this day. There's Eyes Wide Shut, just because, filthy. But, for me, it's 2001. It's absolutely 2001. Thanks a lot for asking. NPE writes, so I'm going to Infinity War with 7 friends. That's awesome. Opening night, but sadly, there's no reserve seating. Oh, that sucks. Going to be more action fighting for good seats and watching the film. I mean, see, again, yet another reason why, I don't know why in North America we are so ass backwards. How there are still movie theaters that do not have assigned seating is beyond me. It is so freaking archaic and dark ages. Because now, good luck if you and your buddies want to sit together. Good luck. Because you are literally going to have to go 2.5, 3 hours early. You're going to have to go 2.5, 3 hours early. And by the way, there's already going to be a line when you get there. But you're going to have to go 2.5, 3 hours early to even have a hope of getting seated together. Absolutely ridiculous, man. I salute you. I feel like you're a gladiator going into the ring about to get killed, but I salute you. You who are about to die, I salute you. You're right. It's going to be more action trying to get those seats. So good luck, man. All the best to you. And yet again, why it's so stupid that there are any theaters left in North America that don't have pre-assigned seating. Just archaic. Get with it, guys. Isaac Marinero, who writes, so I listened to your show via headphones, so I never had a chance to see what all the models of Felipe are. I'm curious. Are they all the same or what? Well, no. Whenever I talk about Felipe, the sentient dancing microphone, I just pull in whatever microphone I happen to have close to me at the time. And so right now, that's Felipe at the moment. But really, it's usually whatever microphone I have at my disposal at any given moment to pull in a shot. Act Naturally Productions writes, ooh, we're almost out of time. Act Naturally Productions writes, can you give us one last tour of your studio? Sure, yeah. What I'll do is I'll pull up my camera, give you a little, it's a tiny little room. I am in a tiny little room here, which is one of the reasons why Anna and I are moving is that, Anna and I just need a little bit more space, but I wanted a studio room that I could have a little bit more breathing room. And so, but yeah, I'll show around. I'll grab my cell phone, shoot some video, and I'll show it to you guys. Let's see, again, a second jump. Okay, Ben Rayner writes, love the Deadpool trailer. My 4th wall break wishes came true. 1 Thanos reference, 2 Goonies reference, and bonus DCU reference. You know what? I missed the Goonies reference. I don't know what the Goonies reference was. Email me, guys, and let me know. What was the Goonies reference? Okay. Lawrence, RBE. Thanks for mentioning that, Ben. But seriously, let me know. Which was the Goonies reference? It went over my head. Totally went over my head. Lawrence, RBE writes, I have noticed that the Hollywood elite like to look down on the MCU comic book movie genre. Where would Hollywood be without these amazing success of such? No, they do not. That's bullshit. Lawrence, that's bullshit. There are 2 or 3 people who look down on it. Most of the Hollywood elite love the comic book movies because of how much money they generate for the business. Because guess what? They know better than you do. They know that these big, huge blockbuster films, the profits from those are what pay for those other smaller films too. It's not common that people hate comic book movies. It is a very few select individuals that talk shit about comic book movies. It's a very few select. It's like 1%. So you are completely incorrect when you say the Hollywood elite. No, they don't. The vast majority. Who do you think is paying for these comic book movies? It's the Hollywood elite. It's the studio executives. And these are the people who are paying for these movies and who greenlight these movies and who make these movies happen. This Hollywood elite you're looking down your nose at, these are the people who are responsible for the comic book movies. Don't get your knickers in a twist over, a Jodie Foster or this one director or whatever. It is such a small percentage because believe me, Hollywood loves money. And the train bringing in the most money is the comic book movie genre. Ergo, the Hollywood elite, as you put them, the vast majority of them love the comic book genre because it's bringing in the money. They love it. Don't be one of these dudes, man, that hears one person say one thing and then ascribes an entire people group to that one thing that one person says. It's like coming to America and hearing some dude on the street saying something racist and going, all of America is racist. No, they're not. There are racists here. Yeah, there are, that we need to deal with, but not all of America is racist. Just like, yes, a Jodie Foster talks crap about comic book movies. She does not represent all of the Hollywood industry. Not by a long shot. Not by a long shot. So don't fool yourself into thinking that way. And don't take the comments of a handful of people and then make the mistake of thinking, therefore, that's the attitude represented for all of that group. No, it's not. Believe me, it's not. There is no bigger greedy group of bastards than Hollywood. and they love anything that brings them the money. And guess what's bringing them the money? The comic book movies. So yes, the Hollywood elite do not hate that. There's a few individuals, but for the most part, they love it. All right, that's all the time I have for today, guys. Don't worry, if you had a question sent in and I didn't get around to it, I'm going to take them. I'm going to put them with the yesterday's questions. There weren't many from yesterday, so that's why I didn't do a companion video yet today. I'm going to wait till I have a few more questions. I'm going to take all the live questions you guys just sent in, and I'm going to put them with those, and I'm going to put them up in my next companion video. So don't worry, if you sent in a live question, I didn't have time to get to it, it will get answered. But you know what? Before we go, remember earlier in today's show, I put up that little poll. I'm going to go over to the poll right now, see what the responses have been so far. And so far, unbelievable. Okay, so right now, the response is 76% of people say that the theaters they go to have two separate lines. 24%. That's almost a quarter of people say your local theaters are the ones that it's the same line for both. That's a huge number. I am shocked by that. I am absolutely shocked. I had never even heard of such a thing, but apparently it's so predominant. It's like almost a quarter of you guys go to a theater where the concession line and the ticket line are the same line. I have never even heard of this. That just shows you how much out of the loop I am, I guess, when it comes. I mean, I've never seen it. I'll just tell you right now, that number shocks me. Okay, guys, thank you for participating both in the show and on the poll. I appreciate that, guys. That'll do it for today's installment of Open Mic. Make sure you go check out my Deadpool video that I put up a little bit later today. Also, make sure you come back for the John Campea show a little bit later today as well. And guys, do me a favor. If you're somebody who enjoys my programming, head on over for a second to www.patreon.com/John Campea. Get, number one, all the information about what it means to be a Patreon supporter. Number two, how being a Patreon supporter keeps these shows on the air. And number three, what benefits there are to being a Patreon supporter. Things like audio-only versions of the podcast, a couple of behind-the-scenes videos, the participation in the Facebook group, all that type of good stuff. Check it out, and maybe you'll want to become a Patreon supporter too. And if you don't, that's totally fine. I'm just glad you're here being a fellow film fan with us and contributing to the film fan community. All right, guys, that'll do it for me for this installment. Thanks so much for joining me. My name's John Campea, and until our next video, bye-bye.